you know, in IGDS, we learn from the womb to the tomb. And it's part of what was raised in the retreat we just attended, that if any district is to be scored an 100% or beyond in learning, in seminar, in webinar, in technical session, then that score should go to no other district than your district, Ilupeju, Bagada, and District Society, the model district. This month is not different. We have also considered a contemporary topic, which is audit in technology age, transiting from conventional auditor to system auditor. And we have also brought in an expert in that field, in person of Mr. Oluseyi Abushango, CIA, a manager in PwC UK, that will be speaking to us on the topic. Before I go through the profile of Mr. Abushango Oluseyi, I can see some of our members joined this platform, and they have not well putting their names in their devices are not well named. I can see Zoom, I can see user, I can see all of those things. You will not be able to get the expected credit units by the time we are compiling the attendance. So please, we plead with you, if you have registered your device with all this name of user of Zoom, please kindly register your device appropriately, so that, and ensure you also register your attendance in the chat box so that you can get the expected MCPD credit units for this session. Without further ado, let me quickly take the profile of Mr. Oluseyi Abushango. Like the Vice Chairman said, I'm standing in for our Technical Secretary, Dr. Chichi Fowoko, who is currently on motion. Oluseyi is a technology audit manager at PwC UK. He has over 13 years of experience in the audit field and has a proven track record of delivering high-quality risk assurance services to clients across a range of industries, including financial services, FMCG, telecommunications, hospitality, and aviation. Before joining PwC UK, Oluseyi was the head of the internal audit of Leadway Assurance Company Limited, responsible for providing independent assurance over the organization's risk management, governance, and internal control processes. He was also responsible for the audit of 6 other entities within the group. He is a certified information systems auditor, CISA, ISO 27701 lead auditor, fellow of Association of Chartered Accountants, FCCA, certified internal auditor, CIA, associate of Chartered Insurances of Nigeria, and he holds a bachelor degrees in electrical engineering, LAUTECH, and applied accounting from Oxford Brookes University in the UK. Currently runs an executive MBA at the Quantic School of Business and Technology, Washington, USA. He has delivered papers or served on panels at different professional fora of the Nigerian Insurance Association and ISACA, and also contributed to the profession by writing several articles. In his free time, Oluseyi enjoys listening to music and volunteering. He's actively involved in several community initiatives where he uses his skills and expertise to make a positive impact on the society. Ladies and gentlemen, professional colleagues, and friends of the district who have also joined
I think it's a network issue. The technical secretary is about to reach out in the club center. Ladies and gentlemen, we hereby welcome Mr. Oluseyi Abushango. So let's have you on board. Over to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me to this forum. It's fantastic, and I'm excited about the topic. I really appreciate the opportunity, and let me stand on the existing protocol to show regards to the officers and members of this district. The subject we're considering today is one that is very, very topical. It has come at the right time, and it is very relevant to all of us as accounting and assurance providers. It is forward-looking, and so I want us to consider it a sort of a reflection as we go through the material. How does this affect you and I, and what do we need to do? And at the end of this presentation, hopefully we have a few more minutes, to share ideas and have a quick question and answer. So without further ado, let me just share my slide. Let me know if you can see the slide and if you can hear me clearly once the slide comes on rather. Can you see the slide?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to consider a number of things, and I've structured this session along the lines of why we need to do this, make this transition, why it might be wise to consider it. Everybody will not make the transition. That's a fact. But why is it good to consider it? And if you're not even transiting to a system audit role, why should you consider being familiar and comfortable with the future of audit, with the technology that enables the future of audit? So we're going to consider why. We'll consider who should be concerned, what is required, where should we find, can we find resources? And then we'll have further conversations. Now, when we say transition, why is it necessary? It is because our environment is changing. And if you look at the picture that I have on slide here, you will see that it sort of characterizes what happens in many homes today. Sunday evening, you want to relax and rest, or even Saturday, everybody is in the living room. And what do you notice? If you have a camera looking into each house, you probably see something similar. Children all have devices, they're on their devices. They're either watching a video, an educational video, or they're playing a game. Parents have devices. Maybe they are using one hand to do some work, preparing for next week, or they're using another hand to find some, entertainment, to socialize, to shop, and to do almost everything that we do in normal, real life. But all of this has come into the virtual space. And so it has kind of shaped the way we interact. So all of that happens online now. And because, business is not isolated from the way we live our life, society. They are so interrelated that business often responds to change in societal values and structure. Because we are seeing a transition to online interaction, online way of doing things, businesses are also responding, digitalizing, and that is impacting how they do business, how things are done. But that comes with risk. We are audit and assurance professionals, so we think risk, we think controls, we think people, we think processes, we think systems. As the transition to digital is happening, we are seeing the risk that goes with it. And companies need us to come in and provide assurance that, hey, the systems we're using are processing transactions correctly. You will not forget quickly the financial statement assertions. Is it handling, and also information processing objectives? My man wants to make assertions as on a particular financial statement, and they have processed these transactions that have gone into the financial statements using systems. Who will validate the information processing objectives? That the information has been treated completely, accurately, that things are valid, and that access to this information has been appropriately restricted. It is us. We are the ones. And so we have to be prepared for this new way of doing things. We need to understand the change that is coming to our road and be ready to adapt to it. So either we choose to move into that fully, or we choose to be comfortable with the technology. It's all our choice, but we cannot be where we were coming from. And so that is the core of what we have, the conversation we're having today. Now, what are those factors that are driving the change? Let's look at this. And there are a lot of factors, but I've narrowed it down to these three: digital, economic and social factors. When we say digital, I'm talking about the growth, the change, the progression of technology itself. And it's a combination of all these three factors that has resulted in the need, in fact, increasing need for technology auditors or assurance providers or accountants. Think of whatever role you currently hold, who are comfortable with technology and can use this new tool to drive efficiencies in their role. If you want to take these factors one after the other, for example, let me start with the economic factors. What are the economic factors that are resulting in that? One, businesses are relying more on technology. All businesses are implementing one software or another. Either is a core software for their business, core business application, or is it a finance system, is it an ERP? All of us, all organizations are implementing new systems so that they can use that to carry out their operations. And when you introduce technology into the mix, you then have technology risks as well. So we have our IT general controls that needs to be in there because there are risks that comes with this technology use. Who is going to assess the effectiveness, whether in terms of design and implementation or the operating effectiveness of the controls that you've put in? Who is going to do it? We need people with the skill, and that's where we come in. Is that all? No. There is also an increasing demand for, when I say economic, organizations are competing significantly and they want to hedge each other out. So this competition drives the need for efficiency within organizations. And one means of achieving greater efficiency is also technology. Organizations are putting technology in place to become more efficient, deliver value, better value at lower cost. Technology enables it, but it comes with risk again. So these are all things that's the economic side of things that drives the need, the demand for those who are comfortable with technology skills, who are either technology editors or technology accountants, accountants who are able to use technology to their advantage, or assurance providers who are very skilled with technology. And as demand grows, we know what happens. In a very fixed market, almost fixed, if I will say it that way, we have a severe skill shortage. And I'll show you some numbers that further explains this. If you look at social factors, there are two things that comes to mind easily. The first one is the fact that the demographic has also changed. So we have people who would rather go online and do transactions than go into a physical store. This is just about the generation, a new generation of people who are digital first. It is what they know, and that's what they are comfortable with. They rather tweet and meet somebody and have an interaction person to person. So this digital first generation is also driving the change. But because of the use of technology, we need people to come in and provide trust to society that don't worry, things are still happening as they should. The second factor for social interaction, the second impact, second item that impacts on social interaction is COVID-19. We cannot isolate that one. So COVID-19 came in and accelerated everything. In many organizations, even if the idea has come up that people should work remotely, I'm sure they will never agree. At the management meeting, if you say, what if we can bring in efficiency by having people work remotely in some days or hybrid working? Nobody will accept that. But when COVID struck and we all went on lockdown, it became a necessity. And so COVID-19 drove the adoption of technology in almost all organizations worldwide. And that has also increased the demand for technology skills. And finally, the big elephant in the room is advancement in technology itself. When we say advancement in technology, we're talking about new tools, new technological devices, techniques that have come on board. Before we will talk about 3G, talk about 4G, and now we're talking about 5G. Boosting significant broadband, bandwidth of network capability. It means that I don't need to travel from one part of the world to the other to carry out, perform an activity. To give a medical example, I don't have to be a surgeon traveling to the end of the world to carry out a surgery. I can use the robot at the other hand, robotic arms, can hold a joystick here because things are very, very nippy. Because of the speed of the network, I can carry out precision activity from wherever I am, and it will carry out the surgery effectively. It has been done. I can be in a pod and experience almost in real time, like real life, what is happening elsewhere. I could travel to the North Pole from my room in a pod, experience the same conditions I'll be feeling there, see the sights, hear the sound, have a 360-degree view, just because of 5G. And there are other technologies like that will expand on, like generative, AI and other things that have made it necessary. And because these have come in, we have seen other areas and spheres of life in which we can apply those technologies. Now, it is exciting to have these technologies, but somebody has to look at those technology that we've introduced and say, oh, it is safe or not. That people can still pick a financial statement, sell financial statement, because this is what it boils down to. You can still pick a set of financial statements and be assured that the numbers make sense and they are, they materially are not misstated. That they can go online and put in their information and be comfortable that it's not being sold somewhere else or falling into the wrong hands. The question is a question of trust. And we need assurance providers who have that skill. Unfortunately, they are in very, very severe shortage. The technology one is one we can take a deeper dive into, and I chose to spend a moment to look at that. So if you look at the slide on board, we have 4 areas that I've highlighted, and I'm sure that most of these are happening in all organizations. Many organizations are moving to the cloud. Whether they are moving their emails or their applications. Okay. Whether they are moving their emails to the cloud or other applications, it has now become a critical part of our operation. So the move to the cloud is a very critical one. Another one we're seeing is big data, because data is not just numbers now. We have multiple sources of data. The calls you are making, the voice call you are making, the interactions you have on our website, the pictures you download, the ones you click, they are all forms of data, and we are harnessing all of that. And we are analyzing them in real time and using them. So data has become significantly huge, and it's now the gold to business. So whoever has the best data is able to generate good insights and is able to apply that understanding to their own advantage. You also need big data for to make good use of all these new technologies. But if you don't have data, you can have a tool, but if nothing to go into, feed into it, you don't get much out of it. So many organizations are also into big data, implementing data warehouses and doing all these things, all these wonderful things. But there are risks associated with them, and somebody has to look at it. So you can ask yourself, is this an area I might be interested in? The demand is there. The demand is there. And so if it's something that interests me, should I be considering it? I think you should. And there are other reasons we're going to see as we go on in this slide that would show that it's wise to consider it. Digital transformation is another trend, because many organizations are now going digital. Everybody's using the word digital. In its crudest form, or the simplest form, is the whole idea that we are not just doing things on our computers, but we're doing it anywhere people are. So we're using anywhere they are online. We're trying to target them. Mobile phones, we're using that. Whether they are on smart devices, we're going there. And each time we go there, we try to capture information about them and to make a sale to them. And not just to them, but to other people in their sphere of influence. So we are looking at their social profile and using all that in our strategy. So the digital transformation drive is something that is forming part of most organizations' 3 to 5 year strategy now. There is no way you will see an organization that would have a proper strategy and digital will not be one of the pillars that they are using to, as a strategy for growth, because they know that is where the future is. And if that is where the future is, the organization cannot be moving and auditors and assurance providers and accountants be in the past. We have to move with the organization, otherwise we're no longer relevant. And finally, the fourth one I chose to highlight here is AI. And that one is something that has blown up in the last 6 months. It has become a mass, and it's still going on. A lot of conversations are going on online about AI. We have a lot of companies that are investing significantly in this field, developing their own models and their own robots, and they're trying to edge one another out. In the news recently, we heard that Elon Musk wanted to do one. We have OpenAI doing one, and different companies are coming up to do one form of generative technology or another, just so because they have seen the value in this in this tool, in this application. But the challenging part is that it also comes with risk, because of the capability and the features of AI, you can create what they call deep fakes. Something that, you have a video that when you look at the video, you think I'm the one speaking, but I'm not the one. It's just artificially generated video. The voice is not mine, the picture is not mine, but it will move and speak as, exactly like the human would do. And because of that, there is a huge wave of misinformation and disinformation as well, because of the use of deepfakes. That's a risk. And imagine what damage it will do to an organization, if such a tool is used in a negative way, maybe whether to make statements or to put certain postures on the internet, which is at variance with the values of the organization. Who would ensure that identity theft is arrested, that we have good controls in place to counter these threats? Assurance providers, technology auditors, and others who are comfortable with those technology. Phishing, cyber attack, these are all things that AI has improved. Sadly so. I generally use improve, not that I made a mistake. Because now, before, somebody has to write code, type this, do that to attack a target online. But attackers are now using AI to do their work, make their work easier, make it more flexible. They don't have to sleep. Humans have limitations. They need to rest. They are tired. They get sick. AI doesn't. Now work 24 hours. That's 3 times how long a human would normally work, in the same period of time. So these have all exacerbated the risk. Now, before we go on further, I want to find out from the room how, if we are very comfortable, let's say, have you heard about one of the more common AI models that are in the market now? That's ChatGPT. So I have put up a poll here just to sample opinion. Let me ask, do we have the poll set up? Are we able to deploy the poll? Awesome, thank you very much. So let's spend 30 seconds or let's say 30 seconds to gather opinion. Please select what you think. How familiar are you with ChatGPT? I've never heard of it. Yes, I've heard of it. I've used it a few times. In fact, I use it all the time now. Let's see. Yes, keep it coming. Once we get to 50%, I think we can end the poll. So if you want to be part of this poll, please let your result come in the next 30 seconds or 10, 20 seconds. We are 42% participation now. 46%, almost there. And have 50%, that would be nice. Okay, I think we can end it. I think most of the results have come in. Let's end the poll and publish the results. Oh, okay, the two polls are run, so that's fine. That's okay. They run together. So let's take the first one, and this is very, very interesting. Thank you for participation. I can see that about 62% of us in the room, plus another 62% have heard about it. That means most of us have heard about it. That is fantastic. We have the 20% who have not heard about it, and the 20% who have also used it, maybe a few times or all the time. I'm happy to see this result, but I think we need to do a bit more. We need to do a bit more than this, because the world is moving on. We need to start trying out these tools in our personal capacity. Be consistent with the policy of the organization. Not all organizations are happy with you using ChatGPT, and that is wise because nobody fully understands the technology yet. Okay, let's see the second question. But if you have not used it before, please go ahead after this session, register an account and try it. Just look at the possibilities, interact with it, ask it questions. Try to make it do what you do at work and see if it does it better than you. Then ask yourself if you should stay where you are or you should make this technology your ally. Because if you don't make it your ally, and it could eventually replace you. And this is not to scare you, it's just the reality and what has actually been happening. If you look at the second question, how much of audit and assurance job will be taken by AI? Some people believe that all of it. And that is fair. 44% says all of it. Maybe not. We don't know what the future holds. We have the 36% that says we take most of it or some of it. And 13% says none of it. Does that tell us something? That most of us assurance providers believe if you had 47 and 36, that is the majority. You only have 17% left. So 83% already believe that some or most of the work that is done now by audit and assurance persons will be taken over by AI. So where does that leave us? Do you see that there is a fire on the mountain, as they say? There's fire on the mountain. And we have to be very strategic in future-proofing our technology. This is a good reality check. And now that we're having this conversation, it's what each of us should go back and ask themselves serious question about. Am I going to allow technology to take my job? Or am I going to be so good with it that it becomes a tool for me and I'm recognized as someone that can harness this tool to bring the organization result? Because that will be the difference between those whose job is taken and those who continue to remain relevant. Thank you very much for these results. Let me show you some of the interesting statistics. So you see that worldwide, in the last 6 months, the number of Google searches has significantly increased. Like, this is percentage increase on previous peaks. I think we can stop sharing the poll now. It's still popping up on my end, but that's all. So if you look at it, between that, look at this chart. It's showing an astronomical rise, about 100% peak on peak results. 100% peak on peak results of how people have gone out to look for for what ChatGPT is. And the second one we considered is asked about what amount of our job will be taken by AI. I saw this online during the week when I was preparing this slide. It just made me laugh. And what do we see here? Humans serving bot drink. And then it says, I can't imagine why they ever thought would take their jobs away. Now, this is some form of satire, because if you look at it, it seems they didn't take the job, but they've taken the lives. It seems we have taken the life, because now they are sitting in the position of people having drink. But it paints the same picture that our poll has just revealed. Let me also show you a couple of other things. Let me stop this share and share another screen. This time I'll share my browser. I've looked up a couple of links, pages on the internet that shows what is really happening out there. And let's not be oblivious of it. Let me share this. Hope you see it now. I hope if you can't see it, just let me know, but I assume that it's showing now. I'll start with the first one here, which is on BBC. And look at the projection that 300 million jobs could be taken by AI. This report is very recent. It was just 28th of March that it was published. And it's based on a report by Goldman Sachs. If you know Goldman Sachs, you know this is a very big investment bank. And what they found is that it's already happening. They expect AI to bring in productivity globally about 7%. Now, when you see this kind of percent in countries that are developed countries, it's huge. It's not like Nigeria. In Nigeria, 7% is nothing because we're a developing country and our GDP, size of our GDP is very small. When you talk about a developed country and you're talking 7%, that's huge. They don't see those kind of growths. They see 4%, 3%, they see 2%, 1%, half a percentage. So if you can bring something that brings 7%, that's fantastic for them. So they also see the prospect for lower wages. Well, demand will reduce for human jobs. That's what it means. And they go on to talk about some of the jobs that will face stiff competition. So I think it's something to really carefully look at. Another article here, this is India Today. This is the biggest magazine in India in terms of circulation, more than 8 million subscribers. And again, recent report talks about how ChatGPT has taken some people's jobs already. Look at some of the information. The ChatGPT has cleared an MBA exam and qualified for an entry-level coding job. It has already started replacing humans at workplaces. There is a survey that was done of some US-based companies deploying ChatGPT instead of human workers. And they surveyed 1,000 business leaders in the survey. And almost half of the companies that participated have said that they are using ChatGPT and the chatbot has replaced workers at their companies. And what is the quality of the work? Look at it. The business leaders are impressed by the viral ChatGPT's work. The company said overall, most business leaders are impressed. 55% say that the quality is excellent, quality of the work produced by ChatGPT, and 34% says it's very good. Even humans don't get like very good every time. So if you look at the combined percentage, 55 plus 34, what does that give you? 89% of all those who have used this say that the minimum they've seen in terms of quality is very good. So what does that tell you? The argument in favor of continuing to use humans to cast and check invoices and do all those things is weak. And companies will probably start doing, pivoting to this solution. One more, don't be afraid. I'm not trying to get you to fear losing your job, but we have to be real. We have to look at what's happening in the world because understanding our environment helps us to calibrate our future. This is another one, BBC. This talks about the experience of someone, Leah. 34-year-old, enjoys her job, gets a good salary, but in the past 6 months, she started feeling apprehensive about the future of her career. And the reason is none other than AI. See, I don't think the quality of work I produce could be matched by a machine just yet. Okay, but the last time I'm amazed at how quickly it has become so sophisticated. Give it a few more years, I can absolutely imagine a world in which bot does my job just as well as I can. And she says, I hate to think what that might mean for my employability. So, professional colleagues, the jury is out on it. You see, let's look at this one. And I like this particular paragraph. I think I will cut it and keep it. So it's very wise advice. Look at it. It says, now, career coaches and HR experts are saying that although some anxiety might be justified, employees need to focus on what they can control. Instead of panicking about possibly losing their jobs to machine, they should invest in learning how to work alongside technology. If they treat it as a resource and not as threat, had the experts, they'll make themselves more valuable to potential employers and feel less anxious. That's like a recap of some of the things I said earlier. If you are afraid and you make it your enemy, it will replace you. But if you make it an ally and you get comfortable with it, you will remain relevant and even become more valuable. So the lady we said earlier, she said she has decided to start learning more about the technology that transforms our industry. She's now researching online courses through which she can learn to code. Can you imagine what's her profession? Let's look at that again. She's not an auditor. She works at a PR consulting firm. And what is she learning to do? She's learning to code. She's now researching online courses through which she hopes to learn to code. She said a lot of tech used to scare me, so I just ignore it. But based on everything I'm seeing, that is sort of stupid. Ignoring something definitely won't make it go away. And I'm slowly starting to understand that if I take the time to make it less unfamiliar, which makes it less scary, it might actually be able to help me a lot. So does it make sense to us? Let's get a quick check. If you think it makes sense, all that we looked at, put a quick yes in the box, in the chat box. Let me see that we are together and that we really understand the context of what we're saying here. I'm seeing the responses coming in, and that I'm happy about that. Good job. Thank you very much. So that is the fact. Let's continue. That is the fact. These are some of the numbers. I wanted to put this in just to show that this is not conjecture. It's not assuming. It is fact of what is happening in the world around us. So we see the number of adoption between 2022 and what we expect in 2025, from 8% of AI becoming critical part of their business. That's core of their business. They can't do without AI. We're going to move from 8% to 43%. While those that will be wide-scale adoption, currently we have wide-scale adoption of 46%. That wide scale would reduce because most of that wide scale would have moved to AI critical. So in a very short time, we're going to have between limited adoption of 22%, wide-scale adoption of 21%, and critical adoption of 43%. That will give us what? 43 plus 43. That's 86% in total of companies that are using AI, that have adopted AI. So if you want to get a work in the future, as close as 2025 is too far, Papa. 2024, from next year, you probably, I don't know what will happen, but maybe it will be one of the things you'll be checked on, whether you know it or not, whether you are comfortable with this tool, whether you can use it. In terms of industry, whatever you do, it will be there. Marketing will be taking the lead. Technology firms, consulting, teaching will also be there. Accounting, healthcare, everybody is affected. Nobody is, and this is the current rate in the US by industry. And if we put those percentage we saw earlier on this, you can see how far ahead the bar chart will move. In terms of shortage of skill, and this is what I want you to pay attention to, there is a huge shortage of skill here. And as assurance and audit practitioners, we have an opportunity. Our profession makes us very dynamic. We can fit into anywhere. And if you just move over to that role, any of this is suitable for you. I can see that we can fit into cloud security, cloud computing. We're all moving to the cloud. So somebody has to be comfortable with the cloud, auditing the cloud. If you make that your own area of expertise, you've got a big job market. They'll just be calling you every week. You know, they'll be buzzing your LinkedIn page. You have a role, you have this, can you work for us? And then you'll be calling your salary. That's a very good position to be in. Application security, risk and compliance, penetration testing. Technology auditors do this now. So enhance your skill and it will grow in the future. This market will grow in the future. You have direct security auditors, you know, and all these other ones where you have a role apart from the core guys who do this work. So let's get comfortable with it. One other thing I wanted to highlight is the change in the environments in which we're going to audit. So there will be complexity, mobile, cloud, business, ERP, all of this will be integrated, and somebody has to, you know, give assurance that things are working fine. The same thing is going to be, you know, impacting how you do your control review. In terms of design of the controls will change, and how they operate will also change. We'll move to continuous monitoring and auditing. We'll be using advanced GRC technology in our audits. We have to be comfortable with these technologies. Otherwise, we're not going to fit into this circle, into this complex environment. We have to be the instrument that brings trust to society, according to the quote we have from Eric Smith there. So I guess there's no need to spend a lot of time on this particular slide about who is concerned. I think it goes without saying that we are all concerned, you and I. And the earlier we know, the better. So let's go straight to what is required. There are two things you need. You need knowledge and skill. Knowledge is the pure knowing what we are talking about. The knowledge domain is just purely understanding this item, you know, technology, and also the risk and the controls and what you're required to know, just the knowledge of it. But you also need the skill. So let's talk about the technology, the knowledge now. You need knowledge of governance, risk management, and compliance frameworks. These frameworks are online. You can download them and read them. COBIT is there. 2019, I think, is the most recent one, but there are usually updates to this. We have ISO 27001. Look for these frameworks, download them and learn them, read them. Take an exam and certify yourself in these frameworks, because they are the foundation upon which you can build your future in technology. Knowledge of technical application, security, architecture, software, IT. Go online. There are MOOCs. We call them MOOCs, like Coursera, like Future Learn. All these websites that teach people for free sometimes, and where you pay little money, a few dollars here and there, and you get a full course. Go and take those courses. Put them on your LinkedIn that you have taken this course and you've passed. Exhibit to the world that you are actively learning about technology and adding value to yourself. That is the way to go. Knowledge of emerging technologies like AI, cloud computing, and blockchain. Experiment with them. Like I said, for the most of us that have not done much about it, used it before, go and register an account after this seminar, after this session. Register an account and experiment with it. Blockchain, there is nothing wrong with it. Just that, you know, the crypto part of it is what the governance is from, you know, and I believe it's just a question of understanding. It will catch up and we'll get there. But read up about blockchain and know how it works. Data management, data analytics. You have a lot of big data tools. Pick one of them and learn. Register for these courses and take them and practice, hone your skills. But you cannot know technology and not be able to understand business. So learn business Learn your business well. Know what is the engine of your business that makes it run. Then application. What you've learned, apply. So you need to bring all those to bear. That's where these technical skills come into play. You've learned the knowledge, but you need to put them into practice. So keep trying out what you learn. We talked about that and analytical skills. Another thing is communication skills. We have this as assurance providers. It's part of us, but learn more because you'll now be talking. You need to bring technology to the board members. Board members don't know anything about boards or code, but you've gone through the systems in the organization. You've seen issues, and you want to break it down for them in language they can understand. That's where your strong communication skills will come in. You need to learn that one. So it goes beyond how you communicate audit results to the members. Now you're talking technology risks, technology controls, and the need for them to put money into it to secure their environment. You have to learn to communicate with the right terms. So learn that. Learn to maintain relationship. Enhance that is what we do every day, but enhance it. How to manage conflict, enhance it. How to negotiate. These are all skills of the future. And if you want to future-proof your career, you need to be comfortable with them. Let's talk about where we're going to find the resources, because I'm conscious, I want us to have time to discuss. I know there'll be a lot of questions, so I don't want to take all the time in presentation. Now, where can we find resources? First, I want to say that everybody will not become technology auditor. Let's be honest with ourselves. I believe that there will still be roles for humans. Humans, though, who are comfortable with the technology, not those that refuse to learn and say, I'm too old to learn or something. Those ones, they will soon become extinct, like what do you call it now? So they will become extinct if they don't move. So let's all not be dinosaurs. Let's learn and become comfortable with these new systems. It doesn't mean you become a system auditor or anything like that. It could still be your pure accountant, it could be your passion, but an accountant who is comfortable with technology and is using it to deliver value is better by far, and it's going to be the one the organization chooses. Okay, so these are some of the certifications that I've seen that are common pathways that people use when they are coming into the profession. Each person's pathway will differ, but this is like the mainstream. You can take the CISA certification, Certified Information Systems Auditor, certified by ISACA. Another one by ISACA is CRISC, Certified in Risk and Information Systems Control. Very, very valuable. They have a huge body of knowledge in those textbooks that forms a strong basis for your future. Another one is CISSP, Certified Information Systems Security Professional. This is very, very, very fantastic. It's offered by ISC. ISS squared, it's called, and it gives you a good understanding of IT governance risk management. And it also has some practice skills where you have to put something, work on live system and things like that. There is also the second level, because we talk about knowledge and skill. Skill is best acquired on the job. So great on-the-job training is available in many organizations, but especially in consulting firms. We'll talk about top 4, top 5, top 6 consulting firms. If you can get a role in those organizations, in their IT audit departments, within 3 years, you would have learned a lot, by the time you go, in those organizations. So it's a very good idea. Let me summarize that. The future is no longer hypothetical, it's here. People's jobs are going away. Technology is taking it. But we don't need to be afraid of this technology. We want to be open to it, be open-minded, don't be afraid. You need patience. You need to give it time. It will take your time. You need to make sacrifices to learn and unlearn some of the things you need. But if you can acquire the technical skills, the analytical skills, the communication skills required, it will help you to improve your career. It will require you to continue to learn, to upskill. But it's a good thing, don't you think? Until we die, we don't stop learning. That's how to be progressive. That's how to have a progressive mindset. So consider those training and certification we mentioned earlier. They will really help you. That is, in my view, how to make your own transition from pure financial or process auditor to technological auditor, or even enhance your skill in whatever role you currently have, if you are not interested in becoming a technology auditor. So I hope it's been valuable to you. I hope it's been a good use of your 50 minutes. And I think it's good. It's a good juncture to have further interaction by way of question and answer. So if you have questions or even reflections, ideas you want to share, I think it's good to take it now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oluseyi Abushago. Interesting and very excellent, I would say, especially for the simplicity of the language, because as we are expecting that the topic would require some jargons, but you have been able to break down those words and make it simple to everybody to understand and comprehend. We really appreciate it. I think on behalf of my press chairman, I will want to tell all our members here to just unmute for 10 seconds and put our hands together for Mr. Oluseyi Abushago for the good job done on this topic. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Oh, we will see more of that. Some.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Really appreciate.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. I got value.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think the 10 seconds has expired. Now let's go to questions. Like you rightly mentioned, Avons speak on that topic, audit in technology age, transiting from conventional auditor to system auditor. We know quite well that our members will actually have questions. So if you have questions, please kindly put up your hands electronically so that we can call on you to unmute yourself and ask those questions. So let your hand be up, please, if you have questions to ask. Let's raise our hands if you have questions to ask, or we drop the question in the chat box, whichever one will take the questions. Okay. Mr. Abimbola Adams. Mr. Abimbola Adams, kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Your name, membership number, and straight to your question. Mr. Abimbola Adams. Hello, can you hear me? Abimbola Adams.
Okay, sir. Good morning from here. My name is Abimbola Adams. My membership number is MB056543. So I just want to ask if the slides, if we can have access to the slide after the training.
Okay. If that is your question, then I assure you that you are going to have access to that slide as you are requested. You'll get it. You'll get it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Mr. Wale Alabi. Mr. Wale Alabi.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I have a question, and although I was in and out during the presentation, so my question is, I want the presenter to elaborate on cybersecurity. With all this audit technology, audit in the cloud, fantastic ideas, and I think is what young auditors need to look into and grab the opportunity. So I want you to, elaborate on cybersecurity on all this. Are we safe? Are the clients safe? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wale Alabi. Our guest has taken down that question. Let's take the questions together, then you can attempt to all of them together. Mr. Raji Ibrahim Adeshola. Raji Ibrahim Adeshola.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. My name is Ibrahim Raji, membership number 051297. Thank you very much to the speaker, and I so much appreciate the fact that the speaker didn't make the conversation about auditors alone. It cut across all aspects of accounting or finance. Currently, I'm a financial accountant, and I've been thinking of adopting AI and also moving into data analytics. But one concern I'm having is that how soon can you build up the confidence after getting the required knowledge before you can say, fine, it is now time for me to have a career change and move into the new career path I've chosen for myself? Is it going to be after 2 years of studying, or after 3 years? Considering the fact that it takes time for you to actually go there without any prior experience, just the knowledge, and convincingly convince your interviewer that, yes, you are ready to do this job perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. Let me just confirm that our guest is getting your question. Mr. Abushango, are you getting the question, sir?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So let's take another one from Abiodun Adeosun. Mr. Abiodun Adeosun, kindly unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. My name is Abiodun Adeosun, MB31392. I want to appreciate our speaker. I am a student of AI and artificial intelligence. I'm currently doing my MBA concerning artificial intelligence. What I have been able to understand about AI is that because the moderator said there are some information that have been somehow been misinterpreted or somehow. So I don't want us to be scared concerning the AI. All we need to do is just to get additional knowledge about the AI, how AI is evolving, and even at Internet of Things. We have Internet the areas world. We also have Internet of Things now, which is also coming up, which is the area of the 5G specifically. So accountants need to be on deck. Seriously, is a real challenge, is a change, is a paradigm shift from what we have learned before. And it's a thing that we need to learn now fast and fast because of the new change, which the pandemic has brought us. But I just want us to be very, very much be attentive, and I want to appreciate what has been given out. Thank you so much. That's just my own personal contribution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think yours is, like you mentioned, is actually an addition, a contribution. We appreciate you. Last question from now here before I also take few ones on the chat. Adebisi Adediwura.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, the moderator. Thank you, Mr. Lusaye. Okay, so all this technology that is coming into play, for instance, the ERP that you mentioned, we'll talk about the cyber application. You talk about cloud computing. To me, I think all these areas are actually specialized area, and they actually take time to learn them. As much as it's very important for accountants to be to have some knowledge about all these technologies that are coming into play. I also know that technology is a very dynamic area. By the time you finish learning one, you will see that we have moved to the next in terms of this technology change. So in my thinking, I'm looking at, is it not better? Why the accountant try to understand all this, having basic knowledge on understanding of these applications, this new system that are coming into play? It's not better for accountant to collaborate with people that have the expertise in this area. Because for instance, how will you be able to audit a particular system that it could not be hacked if you don't have a specialized knowledge on cyber hacking? So that's my take on the matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Davis Adediwora. Let me just take two more questions from the chat box so that our guest speaker can speak to all those questions and we move on from there. So we have a question from Mr. Olusegun Okunade, FCA, the chairman of Ikeja and the Society and a good friend of the house. So what is the fate of our institute? And Ican, I mean by that, like ours, with AI, does one need to go through the rigorous exams to excel? That's his question. Then the second one I'm going to take from the chat box from let's meet ourselves if we are not the one talking, please, so that we don't disrupt the session. Okay, I think Mr. Olusegun can continue with the answers to this. When I say that question, I will raise it again. Over to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks to everyone that has asked different questions, and I'm happy that it's got us to start thinking. I think the first thing to say as the base layer of my response is that our conversation today has achieved some good results, and it is the fact that it has got us to start thinking about our future, about our career, and what is happening out there. And I think that's what we want to sustain. And that would help us to future-proof our career. Now let's take them one by one. The first question was to say that are we safe with a lot of this cybersecurity, around cybersecurity? Are we safe with all this advancement? It's like, I'll say we are not less safe. It's a question of the implementation of the organization we're looking at. That question really should be a focused question on what organization are we talking about. Because it's like a knife. You can have a knife that you can use for good things and you can use it for bad things. And like all systems, if the system is not implemented with adequate controls, the risk will materialize. So that is why when we are doing interactions with organizations, that's why also third-party risk has become significant in the IT space. For all organizations, the vendors that are offering you services and things like that, if they are not secure, they are going to impact your system and make it less secure. So don't be afraid that we are now less safe. To the extent that new tools are coming out, well, those tools are also serving to secure us better, although they can be used or abused. So the question is, which organization are you dealing with, whether as in your daily life, in your business or your personal life? Is that organization safe? That should drive, that should be a reason for selecting one organization over the other. Let me leave it at that. Financial, Mr. Raji asked about AI, data analytics. How long do we need to move over to that field? I would say it's not something that can happen in one day. It will take different time for different individuals. We have different aptitude. We have different time on our hands. I have 2 children. I have a job every day. If I'm going to move my career, it's going to take a lot from me. Unlike another person who is single, who is not married, who has all the time. Each person's path will be different. But if you are making progress every day, you will soon be at your destination. That's what I would say. For some, it will take 2 years. For some, it will take 5 years. For some, it will happen quickly. If you get a job in a technological firm or in a top 4 audit firm today, and you're able to pivot, you could start that journey today. You'll not get there today. Even the people that are technology auditors, I've been technology auditor for the last 13 years of my career. I started my career as a technology auditor, and I'm not at the peak of where I want to be. So it's a lifetime journey. If you want to move over to that organization, just start learning now and putting it on your profile on LinkedIn. If people see that you've learned about this, you've learned about that, they see that you are forward-looking, they will probably employ you, not for the skill you have. Skill can be acquired, but attitude is number one. If you have good attitude, skill can be built on top of that. And if they see that you have a good attitude and you are forward-thinking, they will employ you. That's what an employer who is wise should be looking for. Mr. Adeosun talked about, he said, okay, I think he just made a comment that we should not be scared, which is very, very valid. Thank you for that. Mr. Olusegun said that, what is the fate of an institute like ours? I believe that all professional institutes have a role to play in future-proofing the career of their members. And I think as a district, we also have a role. And one of the ways that we do that is like a session like this, where we educate ourselves, bring awareness. As I said earlier, not everybody will become a technology auditor. We still need accountants. somebody has to understand the IFRS standards. Somebody has to, because IFRS requires a lot of judgment. So even if you program a robot, ChatGPT, it can do the basic ones. It can post transactions. Can do 80% of the work. But where you need to make judgment calls, somebody has to be there. So we don't need a full account department to make the judgment call. That is where the difference is. If an account department is 10 persons currently, and only 2 of them are future-proofed, those 2 will be retained. The others might not have a job in that company in the future. They will be the ones making the judgment call and working in partnership with the AI, with the tool. So I think that is the way we should look at it. The institute has a role, and they will continue to change the structure of exams, the content of exams, of their courses, CPA content, to make sure that their members are up to scratch. And we have to take advantage of those programs and even surpass what the institute is doing. Mr. Adediura talked about the fact that technology is dynamic, and I agree with him. Yes, we'll be able to collaborate with experts, but we cannot stay back. Everybody needs to be a bit comfortable to a certain extent with the technology of the day. Even if you are not able to become a technology auditor, learn about it. When they are talking about it in the audit room or in the boardroom or in management meetings, be able to speak to it. Don't be the one that says that I cannot talk when they go into that subject. I think that's where it's important. When the organization wants to make a decision, should we adopt AI, and you are there as an accountant, you should be able to talk to it knowledgeably, and then they will see that you are relevant and they can see the value in retaining you. So even if we are not going to be able to program or do audit cloud, at least you know how it works and you're able to talk to it. I think that's the minimum we should be able to do. I'm almost there. Mr. Folonshaw talked about is it worth investing in CIA now, or just focus on CISA, C-risk, and so on, and consider the move to digital world? I'll say, what is your interest? What is your interest? If that is where your interest is, chase it. There is opportunity there. The market is big. You will get a job there, wherever you want it to be, even if it's not in Nigeria. Even organizations can hire you from Nigeria because there is shortage in the developed world. I just moved to UK in the last 6 months, and somebody just thought, you know what, I need this skill. So it can happen to you. It's just mobility is there. So if CIA still has its value, internal audit departments will continue to be a permanent feature of organizations. Somebody needs to be the assurance, the core of assurance in the organization. Risk will continue to be there. Internal control will always be there. GRC, we saw it in this previous slide, will always be permanent part of organizations. It's just that we're going to have new tools, more technological tools. So if you are a CIA will teach you about ethics of the profession, about the rules of the profession. It's not a bad idea. So if you can acquire both of them, it's good. But focus on your interest and go with it. Finally, but not the least, Madam Kikeloma Diosho said that my concern is about learning, unlearning, and relearning. You learn one now in another organization, you will hear what you have learned is not in use. With that, we have one tech that fits into all organizations. I think that the way we should look at it is like our profession. Being an auditor, you can work anywhere. Being an accountant, you can work anywhere. The journals may not be exactly the same. The ledgers may not be exactly the same. But the principles underlying all the things the accountant does is the same. Same with the auditor. And so you can bring that principle and apply it to any part or industry that you find yourself in. But acquire the basics, and you can build anything on top of that. So I hope I've touched on most of the questions.
Yes. You have actually done that. Though our time is fast spent, but I can see Mr. Olugbenga Akinlalu raising his hand. Let me quickly take him in. Mr. Olugbenga Akinlalu.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, Mr. Abushongo. Can we hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
So thank you, Mr. Bushongo, for your time. My question is, what are your recommendations? And I want it to have maybe 1, 2, 3, in the sense that everybody on this call are practitioners in one way or the other who are at different levels of their career. And my question is, how do you strike a balance between qualification and the experience? Because getting CISA, there's a difference between me getting CISA and me actually even knowing, as in having the experience to, okay, what and what to audit, what and what, there's a difference between knowledge and the paper. I have their colleagues who are CISA satisfied, but they can't even do anything as far as ITOT is concerned. So my question is, how do one get the practical experience to audit? I think in the paper you mentioned something about attachment to a firm, and I want you to be, to share practical experience. Now, for somebody who's already a practitioner, how do they gain that skill? I mean, yes, we'll get it through training, but 3 months, 4 months, CISA classes, write exam and pass will not really give that experience. So how one that can, what's your recommendation for professionals who need practical experience? I mean, going as in conduct a review and can provide reliable assurance to the board on adequacy of IT assets, governance, among others. So what's your recommendation? Yes, qualification, but qualification is different from experience. How do you get practical experience? Considering the fact that people are in practice in one engagement or the other at the moment. So what opportunity or window do you think you can explore? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Akin, thank you very much for that question. It's a very germane one. And I'll say that qualification is very important. Certification is very important. But it's also a question of, are you allowing the knowledge to pass through you? It's like a student that has gone through school, but the school has not gone through the student. Somebody could read to pass, but did you digest the information? I think that, and this is my understanding, knowledge forms the basis of everything. Before you can do, you have to learn. Any sphere of life, any activity you look at in life, driving, before you can even learn to drive, you study some materials, you practice. So the body of knowledge is critical to gain. When you are taking this exam, don't take them that I want to take them to pass. Study the material very well. You can achieve a passing score of 50. But do you actually have the knowledge? Do you think you are satisfied yourself that you have acquired what is required? Now, that is the basics. Like you said, it doesn't guarantee that you can go in and then conduct an audit and stand and produce a report and say, this is how I got the result. That takes a lot of practice, and that is where the skill component comes in. Now, like I said, we have what I would recommend, I think is the best pathway, is to go through an organization that is at the cutting edge of things. And that is what those consulting firms are. Worldwide, they have a big organization and they are getting information every day and they are executing audits every day. You will go into, it's just like being part of an audit team or being in an accounts department. The first time you come into that department and you're an accountant in the account department, you don't know everything. Maybe you are working in receivables or payables or whatever department you find yourself. You start learning gradually, building on top of. You may go in as an ACA. You might qualify as an ACA from school, but it doesn't mean that you have become. You have knowledge and experience that makes you equivalent to the CFO. You still go in as a graduate trainee. And then you learn after 10, 15, 20 years of learning different parts of that particular thing, you become a master at it. Some don't take that long, and the nature of organizations are different. When I see industry, I think it takes longer to acquire knowledge. What you will learn in 10, 15 years in industry, when you are part of an audit firm, because you are doing like 3 or 4 audits of a company in 1 year, by the time you do 3, 4 years, you've done like 15, 20 audits of different organizations. And you've learned a lot. The same thing applies to technology audits. The rate at which you acquire knowledge is faster, and the rate of application of that knowledge is faster. And the information you get exposed to is also at the cutting edge. That is my recommended route. There are also other ways. We have organizations that are training people to apply that skill. there are also like technology firms. I have attended one in the past where I learned specific skills that are relevant to my job. So I want to do pen testing. I go to that organization, I learn about it. It's focused on penetration testing only. And I spend like 6 weeks learning about that. Then I come to my organization, I can bring it to bear immediately. Another thing that makes your application, I'm sorry for going above time, just 1 more minute and round up. So I think it's helpful to address the point well, because people want to apply what they are learning immediately. If you learn from the textbook and you do exam and you don't put it to practice, you will forget immediately. So you need to also make a conscious career decision to move to an organization and a department that helps you to apply what is inside that textbook immediately. I think that's the most important part of it. If you do a qualification and you remain in accounting department focused only on ledgers you're posting or something specific to that, you will forget about that knowledge. So make a conscious decision. It may require that you drop your pay. It may require that you accept to be the young member of the new team you are joining. But for the purpose of what you are targeting, it might be worth the sacrifice. Not everybody will be able to make that sacrifice. If you can, make it. If you cannot, acquire knowledge and be in a position to talk.
Yeah. Excellent. That's a very good one. And I'm sure our members here have actually learned a lot today regarding the topic and regarding the contents you have delivered for us today. I have my vice chairman's permission to call on Dr. Bode Oguntoke to appreciate our special guest, our guest speaker for today. Dr. Bode, kindly unmute yourself and appreciate our guest for today, sir.
Thank you, our coordinator. I thank you for giving me this opportunity. The whole house, Mr. Chairman and the Vice Chairman and the council members. Before I talk to our presenter, I have my own comments too. Let me start with that. I'll be very fast. We will see that unemployment in most of countries, countries are not caused by technology advancements. In fact, the most advanced countries, they have low unemployment rates. So if you look at it, it means that people actually need to upskill. So if we in developing country, we are afraid of losing our jobs because of technological advancements, I think is not really valid. So what we need to do is to upskill. The typists of those days that have lost their jobs, some of them are using computer now, some are unable to use computer. So I will just tell us as accountants that we should make it our culture, we should make it as our DNA to keep upskilling ourselves. So on this note, I want to address my brother Olusegun Abushongo. They asked me to do vote of thanks, but I think I will go above that if the chairman will permit me to provide an audit opinion to certify the presentation. Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do that?
Dr. Bode, in few minutes, I'm sorry. I know when doctor comes on board, a second paper will come in.
No, I'm not presenting second paper. Just in 60 seconds. In 60 seconds, I know I won't do more than 60 seconds. Is why will I be able to certify what you have done, that you have done it excellently well? I can say this because 20 years ago I did my CISA, and I transited 3 years after to head to become system auditor and in various organizations, including supervising information security. So I can reliably tell the whole house that what Mr. Abushongo has said, they are all 100% valid, and we need to come to it, and we need to own it, and we need to, as accountants, see ourselves that if you want to continue to be relevant, we need to take up this role. And in two ways, my brother has said it, but I would just appreciate him especially for putting that forward. Is number one, the young accountants here should know that ACA is not enough. Add CISA to it, add other certification. That is the summary of what he's saying. And he's also saying that the older ones should have the knowledge and be able to speak to it. So, my brother, I want to say thank you to you for bringing this knowledge to us, for bringing this awareness to us, for charging us to higher responsibility. And I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And like the moderator will say, I will clap for you from this end. Thank you very much for this exposition. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Bode. We really appreciate the comments and also your appreciation. To our guest speaker, I'm sure you are already seeing something on my screen.
Oh, wow, fantastic.
This is our token of love for you,
wow.
for your time, for deciding to share your knowledge with us in the district. We really appreciate you. We present this to you virtually, and the exact plaque will be sent across to you, regardless of your location. Just trust us. It will be delivered to you.
Thank you very much.
Once again, we say thank you. We appreciate you. And we know that when next we beckon on you, you won't hesitate to come again and share your knowledge with us. Thank you, Mr. Abushogo. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the privilege and the honor. And this plaque is fantastic. This is innovative. I'm not surprised. This is a very great district. I've heard a lot about you. And so in the future, if you call on me, yes, I'll be happy to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You can see that again. Hello. Okay, so our members, that's all for today regarding the technical session for the month of April.